Dr. Stern was known throughout St. Jude's Hospital as a pillar of calm. He could handle the most intense situations with a steady hand and a reassuring word. Nurses respected him, patients trusted him, and even the other doctors admired his cool demeanor. But everyone has their limits, right? Nurse Lily, on the other hand, was sunshine personified. Always smiling, always ready to lend a hand, and incredibly efficient at her job. She knew the patients by name, remembered their families, and always made sure they felt comfortable. Lily was the heart of the emergency room. The emergency room at St. Jude's was a whirlwind of activity. Sirens wailed outside, bringing in a constant stream of patients. Doctors and nurses rushed from room to room, attending to the injured, the sick, and the scared. The air crackled with tension, a mix of urgency and exhaustion. It was a place where seconds mattered, and mistakes could be costly. Little did anyone know, this particular evening was about to become a night no one would ever forget. The stage was set for a clash of personalities and a shocking turn of events. That chaotic evening, a terrible car accident brought in multiple patients at once. The ER became a flurry of activity as doctors and nurses worked to save lives. Stretchers were wheeled in, monitors beeped loudly, and the air was thick with the smell of antiseptic. Dr. Stern, despite his usual composure, felt the pressure mounting. He barked orders, his voice strained, as he tried to coordinate the team. Lily, ever the efficient nurse, was right beside him, anticipating his needs and assisting with the critical tasks. She moved with a sense of purpose, her smile replaced by a look of intense concentration. Even in the midst of the chaos, she managed to offer a comforting word to a frightened child and a reassuring touch to a worried family member. The weight of the situation pressed down on everyone, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the responsibility they carried. The emergency room felt like a battlefield, where every second counted in the fight to save lives. It was in this pressure cooker that the fateful misunderstanding would soon occur. Amidst the controlled pandemonium, Dr. Stern urgently requested a specific medication for a young boy with a head injury. "Lily, get me 5 milligrams of endofenic, stat," he commanded, his voice sharp. Lily, who was simultaneously managing another critical patient's foreline, thought she heard him say, endorphin. Endorphin is a pain reliever commonly used. Endofenic was new. She quickly prepared and administered 5 milligrams of endorphin, believing she was following his instructions. However, when Dr. Stern checked on the boy moments later, he realized the error. His face flushed with anger. "I said endofenic, Lily. Endofenic. This boy needed that medication immediately. What were you thinking?" Lily, startled and confused, tried to explain. "But doctor, I thought you said endorphin. I'm so sorry. I must have misheard you over the noise." Her explanation only seemed to fuel Dr. Stern's fury. The misunderstanding, born from the high-pressure environment, was about to escalate into something much worse. The consequences would ripple through the entire hospital. Dr. Stern's voice rose above the beeping monitors and hurried footsteps. "This is unacceptable, Lily. A child's life was in your hands, and you weren't paying attention." He pointed a finger accusingly. "This isn't the first time you've made a mistake lately. I've noticed a decline in your performance." Lily's eyes widened in disbelief. She had always prided herself on her accuracy and dedication. "But Dr. Stern, I've been working non-stop. Everyone is stressed. It was an honest mistake." She felt tears welling up, a mix of anger and hurt. "Honest mistake?" Dr. Stern scoffed. "In this profession, there's no room for mistakes. You're a liability to this hospital." Then, in a moment that shocked everyone who overheard, he said, "You're fired, Lily. Get out." The words hung in the air, heavy and cold. Lily stood frozen, stunned by the suddenness and severity of his reaction. The other nurses and doctors nearby stopped what they were doing, their faces etched with disbelief. The emergency room, already a scene of chaos, now held a new kind of tension, the stunned silence of injustice. Lily, tears streaming down her face, gathered her belongings. Her hands trembled as she packed her purse and took off her name tag, the plastic feeling heavy in her hand. She couldn't meet anyone's eyes as she walked past the stunned faces of her colleagues. The humiliation burned like fire. She walked out of the emergency room, out of St. Jude's Hospital, and into the cool night air. The city lights seemed to blur through her tears. All she could think about was her career, her reputation, and how she would explain this to her family. She had always been a dedicated nurse, always putting her patients first. Now she was unemployed and unfairly dismissed. As she drove home, Lily replayed the evening in her mind, trying to understand what had happened. She knew she had made a mistake, but Dr. Stern's reaction seemed completely out of proportion. She felt a deep sense of injustice, a feeling that she had been wrongly accused and punished. The weight of the situation threatened to crush her. The future seemed uncertain and bleak. Back in the emergency room, a low hum of conversation filled the space Lily had just vacated. Nurse Davis, a seasoned veteran, whispered to Dr. Lee, "I can't believe he fired her. Lily is one of the best nurses we have." Dr. Lee nodded in agreement. It was completely out of line. Stern's been under a lot of pressure lately, but that's no excuse. Lily is always so careful and dedicated. Remember when she stayed late to comfort Mrs. Gable after her surgery? Or how she caught that medication error with Mr. Henderson before it could cause any harm? Other nurses joined the hushed discussion, sharing similar stories of Lily's kindness and competence. They all agreed that Dr. Stern had overreacted and that Lily deserved better. A sense of unease settled over the ER. The team felt incomplete without Lily's cheerful presence and unwavering support. They worried about her and wondered what the future held for their friend and colleague. The incident had shaken their confidence in Dr. Stern and highlighted the immense pressure they all faced daily. Later that night, after the last of the accident victims had been treated, Dr. Stern sat alone in his office, the silence amplifying his thoughts. The adrenaline had worn off, leaving him feeling drained and uneasy. He replayed the scene with Lily in his mind, the anger slowly giving way to doubt. He remembered the look on her face, the shock, the hurt, the humiliation. He knew Lily wasn't a careless nurse. She was usually meticulous and reliable. Had he overreacted? Was his judgment clouded by the stress of the evening? He thought about the boy who received the wrong medication. Thankfully, the endorphin hadn't caused any harm, but what if it had? The weight of that responsibility pressed down on him. He started to question his own actions, wondering if he had let his emotions get the better of him. Maybe, just maybe, Lily wasn't entirely to blame. The seed of regret began to sprout in his mind. He knew he had to do something, but what? The night stretched on, filled with his internal turmoil. The next morning, Dr. Stern arrived at the hospital with a heavy heart. He sought out Dr. Ramirez, a senior physician known for his wisdom and calm demeanor. Dr. Ramirez had seen it all in his long career and was respected by everyone. "Ramirez, do you have a moment?" Dr. Stern asked, his voice subdued. Dr. Ramirez looked up from his chart, his eyes twinkling behind his glasses. "Of course, Stern. What's troubling you?" Dr. Stern recounted the events of the previous night. His voice filled with remorse as he described his outburst and the firing of Nurse Lily. He admitted that he had acted rashly and that he was now unsure of what to do. "I don't know what came over me, Ramirez. I was so focused on the patient and the potential consequences of the error that I lost my temper. Now, I've made a terrible mistake, and I don't know how to fix it." He looked at Dr. Ramirez with a plea for guidance. What should I do? The weight of his actions bore down on him. Dr. Ramirez listened patiently, his gaze unwavering. When Dr. Stern finished, he sighed softly and placed a hand on Dr. Stern's shoulder. "Stern, we all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and to make amends." He continued, "Lily is a valuable asset to this hospital. She's a skilled nurse, a compassionate caregiver, and a dedicated member of our team. Firing her in the heat of the moment was a mistake. You need to apologize to her, Stern. Admit that you were wrong. Offer her job back." Dr. Ramirez emphasized the importance of humility and forgiveness. It takes courage to admit when you've made a mistake, Stern. But it's the right thing to do. Not only for Lily but for yourself and for the morale of this hospital. People will respect you more for it. He paused, then added with a gentle smile. Besides, who else is going to remember all the patients' birthdays? Dr. Stern managed a weak smile in return, feeling a glimmer of hope. He knew Dr. Ramirez was right. He had to fix this. Determined to make things right, Dr. Stern resolved to find Lily and apologize. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he owed it to her, to himself, and to the entire hospital. He would publicly acknowledge his mistake and offer her job back, hoping she would accept. He also realized he needed to address the underlying stress in the ER to prevent similar incidents from happening again. He asked Dr. Ramirez to accompany him, knowing that his presence would lend weight to the apology and show his sincerity. Together, they began their search for Lily, hoping to find her before she made any irreversible decisions about her future. The hospital felt different without her cheerful presence, a stark reminder of the impact of his actions. He hoped it wasn't too late to fix things. He knew he had to act quickly. The clock was ticking. Meanwhile, at home, Lily sat at her kitchen table, staring blankly at a cup of coffee. She hadn't slept well, replaying the events of the previous night over and over in her mind. The phone rang, startling her. It was Dr. Ramirez. "Lily, dear, it's Dr. Ramirez from St. Jude's," he said kindly. "I know you're probably feeling very upset right now, and rightfully so, but I wanted to ask you to do me a favor. Would you be willing to hear Dr. Stern out? He wants to talk to you." Lily hesitated. "I don't know, Dr. Ramirez. He was so angry. He humiliated me in front of everyone. I don't think I can face him." Dr. Ramirez gently persisted. "I understand your feelings, Lily, but Dr. Stern is a good man at heart. He made a mistake, a big one, but he realizes that now. Please just give him a chance to explain. You might be surprised." He paused. "Think about it, Lily, for yourself and for the patients who need you." He left the decision up to her. After a moment of contemplation, Lily agreed to meet with Dr. Stern. She knew it would be difficult, but Dr. Ramirez's words had resonated with her. She decided to return to the hospital cafeteria, a neutral ground where they could talk. Meanwhile, Dr. Stern and Dr. Ramirez spotted Lily walking towards the cafeteria. Dr. Stern felt a surge of nervousness. This was it. He took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. He knew he had to be sincere and humble if he wanted any chance of earning back Lily's trust. As Lily approached, Dr. Stern stepped forward, his face etched with sincerity. "Lily," he began, his voice filled with genuine remorse, "I owe you a huge apology." The air was thick with anticipation as the other staff members subtly observed from a distance, curious to see how the situation would unfold. The stage was set for a moment of truth. Would Lily accept his apology? Dr. Stern continued, his voice cracking with emotion. "I was completely out of line last night, Lily. The stress of the situation got to me, and I took it out on you. That was wrong. You're a fantastic nurse, and I value your contributions to this hospital more than words can say. Firing you was a terrible mistake, and I deeply regret it." He paused, meeting her gaze. "I am truly sorry, Lily." Dr. Ramirez stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on Lily's shoulder. "Dr. Stern is speaking from the heart, Lily. We all make mistakes, but it takes a strong person to admit them. We need you here, Lily. The patients need you. The staff needs you." He turned to Dr. Stern. "Offer her the job back, Stern." Dr. Stern nodded, his eyes pleading. "Lily, please come back. Your job is waiting for you. We would be lost without you." He held his breath, awaiting her response. The entire cafeteria seemed to be holding its breath, too. Lily looked at Dr. Stern, her expression unreadable. She had come expecting anger, perhaps even another outburst. But she saw genuine remorse in his eyes, a sincerity that surprised her. She thought about her patients, about the colleagues she considered her friends, and about the job she loved. "Dr. Stern," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "I appreciate your apology. It means a lot to me. What you said last night was hurtful, but I understand that everyone makes mistakes, especially under pressure. I also know that this hospital needs good nurses, and I do love my job here." She paused, considering her words carefully. "However, I need to know that this kind of thing won't happen again. We need to find a better way to communicate and support each other, especially during stressful situations." She wanted to be sure that this wasn't just a temporary fix, but a real commitment to change. Her answer hung in the balance. Before Lily could fully commit to her decision, a small detail caught her eye. A fellow nurse, Maria, subtly gestured towards the break room. Lily glanced in that direction and saw a flicker of movement. Earlier that morning, Dr. Stern, after speaking with Dr. Ramirez, had quietly slipped into the break room. He'd asked Maria to help him prepare a small surprise for Lily, just in case she agreed to come back. He knew it was a long shot, but he wanted to show her how much she was valued. He'd nervously supervised as Maria carefully arranged a small cake and a few balloons. He'd even written a little message on the cake himself. Now, back in the cafeteria, Lily understood. It wasn't just words. Dr. Stern was showing he truly cared. This small act of kindness, this willingness to go the extra mile, spoke volumes. It was a sign that he was committed to creating a more supportive environment. It was the final push she needed. The other nurses and doctors watched with bated breath, their faces a mixture of hope and relief. They had all been deeply affected by the events of the previous night and were eager to see a positive resolution. They knew that Lily's return would lift the spirits of the entire team and restore a sense of balance to the emergency room. Nurse Davis nudged Dr. Lee and whispered, "Looks like things are going to be all right after all." Dr. Lee nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "I knew they would work it out. They're both good people, and they both care about this hospital." Even the usually stoic head nurse, Mrs. Johnson, allowed herself a small smile. The tension that had gripped the emergency room since Lily's dismissal began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of cautious optimism. They were all ready to welcome Lily back with open arms and put the difficult night behind them. They just needed to hear her say the words. Lily took a deep breath and looked directly at Dr. Stern. "All right, Dr. Stern," she said, a small smile gracing her lips. "I'll come back, but we need to work on communication, and we need to support each other better. I think we can all learn from this experience." A collective sigh of relief swept through the cafeteria. Dr. Stern's face lit up with genuine happiness. "Thank you, Lily," he said, extending his hand. "I promise things will be different. We'll make sure of it." Lily shook his hand firmly, a symbol of their renewed working relationship. The tension that had been hanging over them finally dissipated, replaced by a sense of hope and optimism. They had weathered the storm, and they were ready to move forward, stronger and more united than before. The shock of the previous morning had faded, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. With the handshake complete, Dr. Stern turned to the gathered staff. "Everyone," he announced, his voice clear and strong, "I want to thank you all for your support, and I want to publicly apologize to Lily for my behavior last night. It was unacceptable, and I take full responsibility for my actions. I promise to do better." He then gestured towards the break room. "And now, if you'll all join us, I think there's something in the break room that Lily deserves." The staff erupted in applause, their faces beaming with joy. They followed Dr. Stern, Dr. Ramirez, and Lily towards the break room, eager to celebrate the reconciliation and welcome Lily back into the fold. The atmosphere was now filled with genuine warmth and camaraderie, a stark contrast to the tension that had permeated the hospital just hours before. The healing process had begun. As they entered the break room, Lily gasped. There, on the table, was a small cake with "Welcome back, Lily," written in cheerful frosting. A few colorful balloons bobbed gently in the air, adding a touch of festivity to the room. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke volumes about the support and appreciation that Lily's colleagues felt for her. Lily's eyes welled up with tears of gratitude. She hadn't expected such a warm welcome, and it touched her deeply. She looked at Dr. Stern, her heart filled with forgiveness. She knew that he had truly learned from his mistake and that he was committed to creating a better working environment for everyone. The staff gathered around, offering hugs and words of encouragement. They shared slices of cake and celebrated the return of their beloved colleague. The emergency room at St. Jude's Hospital was once again a place of teamwork, compassion, and mutual respect. The shocking events of the previous morning were now a distant memory, replaced by a renewed sense of hope and unity. From that day forward, Dr. Stern made a conscious effort to be more understanding and supportive of his staff. He implemented regular team meetings to improve communication and address any concerns before they escalated. He also made sure to acknowledge and appreciate the hard work of his nurses and doctors, recognizing their dedication and commitment to patient care. Lily continued to be a pillar of strength in the emergency room, her kindness and efficiency shining even brighter after the difficult experience. She became an advocate for better communication and mutual respect, always reminding her colleagues of the importance of teamwork and understanding. The emergency room at St. Jude's Hospital became known not only for its excellent medical care but also for its supportive and collaborative environment. Dr. Stern and Nurse Lily's story became a reminder that even in the most stressful situations, forgiveness, understanding, and teamwork can prevail. The hospital thrived, built on the foundation of a difficult lesson learned. The story of Dr. Stern and Nurse Lily serves as a powerful reminder that even in the most challenging and stressful environments, such as a hospital emergency room, empathy, understanding, and forgiveness can prevail. It shows that admitting mistakes is not a sign of weakness but a testament to strength and character. When we choose to forgive and support one another, we create a more positive and productive atmosphere, allowing us to work together more effectively and provide the best possible care for those in need. This story also underscores the importance of communication and teamwork, highlighting the fact that we are all human and prone to errors. By fostering a culture of open communication and mutual respect, we can minimize misunderstandings and prevent conflicts from escalating. Ultimately, the most shocking thing that happened the next morning wasn't just the apology, but the transformation of an environment filled with tension into one built on understanding, forgiveness, and a shared commitment to excellence. This is a lesson that can be applied to any workplace, any community, and any relationship.